Hey folks, up here in New Hampshire. Been a cold week and I thought I'd talk about a hot gun. As many of you know, I'm a huge firearms fan. Doesn't really matter what type of gun it is, as long as it goes bang, I love to shoot it, and I just think they're great tools and they just have so many applications. But I wanted to talk tonight about one of my all-time favorite handguns, and that would be the Glock 17. I've owned a Glock 17 since 1992, so about 21 years or so. And I now own several of them. This is a Gen 3 Glock 17. I do have a Gen 1 that's actually in my bug out bag, ready to go with a few magazines and a few other stuff. But what I wanted to share with you tonight is why I believe this is such a wonderful self-defense tool, and why I believe it's one gun that if you're just getting into shooting, you should take a serious look at. There are all kinds of different firearms out there, and certainly a lot of handgun options. I own several different makes of handguns. I think Smith & Wesson makes a great product, SIG makes a great product, the Springfield Armory, the XD series, certainly great guns. And I am not advocating one brand over another. You should really define why you're using a handgun, why you need a handgun, and then how you're going to deploy it first. Once you've decided on that, then it largely is a matter of fit and feel and comfort with that particular sidearm. In my case, I've found after shooting literally tens of thousands of rounds through Glocks and using them both from a carry standpoint and also in some competitions, and then finally as a trainer, as a firearms trainer, I have found them to be a great tool for teaching people to shoot and introducing new shooters to the concept of an autoloading handgun. In my opinion, and again, subjective opinion, this gun allows people who are new to shooting to learn the firearm, but also to be able to modify it as their skills improve. Perhaps one of the greatest things about the Glock, aside from the fact that it's been battle proven and used for years and years and years, is its relatively low tech in the number of parts that it has and what those parts do. That means that if you're not a gifted gunsmith, and you're someone like me who is not a gifted gunsmith, your ability to take the gun apart, totally field strip it, and then detail strip it to the point where you've just got springs and parts on the table and you can reassemble it is a huge advantage to me. What that allows you to do is to modify parts of the gun as you develop your skills, or perhaps you have a different need. With the Glocks, what I really like about them is, there's just a couple of pins that you punch out, and then you're basically ready to go. So you can take out your entire trigger mechanism, and then in the slide itself, getting into the plunger and the firing pin, the springs, being able to get in there to clean that, change your springs, any of that kind of stuff is something a guy like me can do, and if a guy like me can do it, anybody can do it. So from that standpoint, I think it has a huge advantage. The other nice thing about the Glock 17 is the 17-round magazines will fit in a Glock 19 or a Glock 26. So if you start with a full-size handgun and then you want to move to a smaller, perhaps more concealable package, having one magazine that'll fit multiple platforms, multiple size handguns is a real advantage from my standpoint. In addition, from the standpoint, as I mentioned before, of training people and teaching to shoot, as with any handgun, the safety is your brain and your finger. So if you keep your finger off the trigger, the gun will not go boom until your finger's on the trigger and you press the trigger. Knowing that and teaching someone that there is no external safety here that I have to mess around with, or there's no decocking mechanism that I have to learn how to manipulate, or that a safety that I could inadvertently put on when I don't want it on. Safeties all have their benefits and all have their uses, and I am not in any way disparaging guns that have safeties or have decocking mechanisms. They're there for a reason, and certainly they can be very valuable in certain situations. At the same time, there's a lot to be said for a gun that really doesn't have much on it, because you can help people develop the skills that they need to, from using the sights to pressing the trigger. One big advantage that a Glock or striker fire pistol has, particularly if it's using this type of what they call a safe action trigger, is that the trigger pull is very consistent. And so as you press the trigger back, it breaks at a certain point, right? Nice, crisp, clean break. And then from a reset standpoint, again, looking right here, as I release that trigger, there's a real tactile and audio feel when that happens. So I press the trigger, I hear a click, I feel the reset, which means that if you're teaching someone to shoot and they're working on how do I press that trigger, how do I ride the reset and use that reset to my advantage, a gun like the Glock can be a great one to teach on and to help people develop those skills. One of the things that's difficult for many people when they're learning to shoot a double to single action mode, say a Beretta or a SIG, is pressing through that long double action pull, that 12-pound pull, until it gets into its single action mode, and transitioning between the double to the single action. A Glock, an M&P, the XD9, a number of these others allow you simply to have a consistent trigger pull each time. That, for me, and teaching people can be very helpful, because that means the amount of time they have to spend on the gun and learning that trigger is reduced, because every time they pull the trigger they're having that same feeling. Now again, I'm not saying one size fits all, one gun fits all. I'm simply saying that this has some advantages, particularly for those starting out and learning a 9mm semi-automatic pistol and the way it works. So those are a few of the considerations and a few of the things, the benefits that I feel make the gun useful, and one of the reasons it's definitely at the top of my list. The next thing I would say about the Glocks is their durability. I've done a lot of training, shot a lot of classes where you'll go out and you'll fire 1,200 to 1,800 rounds over the course of 2 days. One of the things that you see is the polymer frame pistols, particularly the Glocks, are incredibly durable, and they'll put up with less than perfect treatment. So you go out and you shoot 800 rounds in a day with a Glock versus, say, a 1911. And again, love 1911s. Please don't think that I don't. I own a 1911. They're just beautiful handguns. But you shoot 800 rounds in a 1911, that gun is dirty. It does not process the garbage and get the garbage out of the gun the same way the Glock does. I don't know what the mechanics are associated with that, but I do know that when you go and you clean a Glock after 1,000 rounds, it's nowhere near as dirty as a 1911 after you've shot that, say, at 10,000 or 1,000 rounds. The next thing I would say with my Glocks is I've shot the heck out of them. My Glock, Gen 2 Glock 19, 30,000 rounds. My Gen 1 Glock 17, way more than that. This gun, easily 20,000 rounds. So these guns have shot, for me, tens of thousands of rounds and held up extremely well. Doesn't mean that there aren't other guns. As you know, I've shot more than 21,000 rounds through my M&P Pro. It's running great. However, I've shot these guns and this platform for so long, I really feel that if I had just one gun, and only one gun, the Glock would be one I'd have to look at. Smith & Wesson, the ergonomics fit my hands better. Therefore, for me, it just feels better. But if I could only choose one gun, I'd be hard-pressed not to choose the Glock 17. And again, I own several other handguns, including a Browning High Power, a SIG 226, and on and on. And those are great guns as well. I'm not taking anything away. And if you own a high power and you shoot a high power and you're accurate and you can get hits on target consistently, awesome. That's the gun for you. Same thing. You own a Beretta 92 and you rock with it, fantastic. That's the gun for you. What I'm saying is, find a gun that works, that you feel comfortable with. Work until you've really mastered the gun, until you feel very, very confident in how to safely deploy it, how to get hits on target quickly and accurately, and then one that you know is just going to work regardless of the ammunition, regardless of the conditions out there that you're shooting the gun in. Now, I would say, every gun is mechanical. Every gun can choke. There is no perfect gun. Therefore, you need to know how to manipulate guns and how to make sure you know how to clear guns if, in fact, they go into some sort of malfunction. Doesn't matter whether it's a Glock or whether it's an XD or whatever it is, guns malfunction. They're mechanical. However, if you maintain your gun, you oil it, you keep it clean, you do those things, they tend to hold up much better. I've seen guys shoot Glocks totally dry and they say, well, it's a Glock, I never need to oil it. Quite frankly, that's a bunch of BS. You need to take care of any metal parts that move on any metal object. They'll wear down, there's friction there, and if you don't have lube on them, it's really going to be problematic over a period of time. If you want to run your guns dry, that's fine. For me, the only time I've seen any guns choke is when they're bone dry. That's the only time. The rest of the time, and now I'm not in the sandbox, I'm not in adverse conditions with a lot of dust and sand, so I can only say from the shooting that I've done and the training that I've done and the people that I've seen that the Glocks perform extremely well. So if you're thinking about a 9mm handgun, I think that you really want to take a serious look at the Glock 17 or the Glock 19. Not pretty. They are not as sexy as many of the other guns out there, but from the standpoint of durability, ease of use, accuracy, and long-term durability, they certainly are at the top of my list. So I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and also thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you like this video or any of my other videos, please click the like box in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and it's a little thumbs up arrow. If you like it, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. That's fine. If you don't like it, tell me why you don't like it. I'd love to make the videos better and add more value to the subscribers. And finally, I just want to thank everybody for all the support. A lot of great questions, a lot of great feedback, and really appreciate everything, all the subscribers and all the good words that people are sharing. And finally, as always, I'd ask that you stay safe.